JSP technology, why it is needed in this situation, handling a lot of tedious work, yeah, and it is not efficient. Yeah. So JSP tried to solve this problem. Okay. So the purpose of JSP, simplify the delivery of dynamic web content. Okay. Yeah. Typically, we use Java to do the dynamic web content. Okay. Static, we don't need a Java, right? Static, you just use HTML to display static content. But dynamic, here, we need a Java power to do it. Okay. All right. And if you look at in the servlet, the main method that we use to provide the content, here we talk about this content, could be dynamic, could be static, right? So when we use println, we can produce both static and dynamic. Okay, yeah. Two types of content, okay, all right. So now the issue is, which one would cause problem? Which type of content would cause problem? Yeah. The static part would cause the problem. The biggest problem is that static content. Why? So here, let me just remind you, yeah, go back. The string we enter before, yeah, just some content, right? Yeah, I do not write the exact thing, okay? H1 tag, all right, double quotes, okay? All right. So that's we used for the println method. All right. When you do that, okay, think about this. We need to put a lot of Java, we need to put a lot of HTML tags, right? When you generate HTML tags, right? You need to do that. But when you do HTML tag, for example, A tag, right? href, you need to use double quotes for your URL, right? Double quotes and something, right? Yeah. And this double quotes included in another double quote. See, in our Java syntax, we need to use double quotes for the string value. But your content may contain another double quotes, right? Yeah. So you get Java confused. Which double quote is the string double quote? Which double quote is the HTML double quote, right? You can tell Java to avoid the confusion. Some people know that using the backslash double quotes. In this way, you escape double quote. Okay? When you escape double quote, oh, then Java knows, oh, this is the character double quote. This is not the Java string special character double quote. But think about it, you as a Java programmer, every place when you see double quote, you need to think about, do you need to use escape? Do you need to use backslash or not? That kind of tedious work really make people very angry, you know, yeah, because if people work for a long time, so people will feel angry on that. So that's the biggest complaint. Those old-time Java programmers, they report to the Java design team. So that's the reason Java design team finally find a solution to solve this problem. Okay? The solution is like this. Let's look at the solution. So finally, so they figure out, and with this pretty good solution. Yeah. So let's look at the solution details. First, keep the static content unchanged. When you see the static content, why you need to do another round processing? That's redundant. Okay? So the good way, you should keep static part as is. You do not touch it. Okay? So that's the first point in the solution. Second, embed Java code for dynamic content. When you really need dynamic content, then you embed Java code to do it. Otherwise, you don't do anything in Java. Okay? Just leave it as in the HTML expression. That's perfect for the static content. Okay? Yeah. So the second point. The third one, derived. This new technology should be derived from the servlet technology. Yeah. Because it is not very efficient. Start from scratch. You already have a servlet technology doing all the request response handling. Why you need to create another new technology, repeat this kind of request response another time, right? So that's not efficient. So if you combine all these 3 points, that is the JSP technology. That's the finally the the rationale behind this JSP technology. Okay? Yeah. The result really good. Yeah. So all the Java programmers love this new technology. Okay? So efficient, so easy to do it. Okay? Yeah. All right. So now let's start learning the basics of JSP. Yeah. All right. First, it is an extension of servlet technology. Extension, yeah. So it is built on top of the servlet. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So here you can see the foundation of JSP technology is the servlet. Then above that foundation, it just used some way to format different types of information. Static, dynamic. Okay? It's separate static and dynamic. Okay? To do handling in different ways. So later we will see one JSP file and one Java servlet. So there is a close relationship. So we will connect these 2 things. Yeah. So you will see that. Yeah. All right. Jsp Container. So now we have this terminology, Jsp Container. Yeah. So last time I talked about the meaning. When we say a container, it is used as a software running environment for a special technology. Here, the JSP container, this is a software running environment for JSP technology. So the JSP container is the part of the web server that runs web components. So it is a part of the web container. Yeah, sometimes we call web container, right? Web container. So inside it, we have the servlet container, JSP container, okay? And there are other containers. So later we may have some other types of containers. Yeah. Yeah. Then JSP source file, you need to use .jsp extension. Okay? So you tell the Java server, this is my JSP file. If you do not use the JSP extension, then the server will not process it as a JSP file. Okay? So you have to tell the Java server, process this file as a JSP file. Because the server will do the translation. The server will translate, so here we use this translate another time, translate from JSP to a servlet. Remember, the underlying technology of JSP is a servlet. So the server needs to do the translation to convert it to a servlet. Then it can use the servlet technology to handle request and response. Okay, so that's the point. Okay, That's the way the Java design team, so they try to make their programmers happy. Okay? Because this translation is automatic. Okay? They try to avoid the tedious, redundant, static content processing work for the Java programmers. All right. Next, they are physical files. JSP files are physical files. So you can see them. Right? You can find these files inside your web application. Here I emphasize physical files because think about when we do servlets. When we do servlets, the servlet physical file hide from the users, right? The servlet physical file should be protected from the user. User cannot touch the servlet physical files. The servlets are exposed using their logical names. Logical names. Exposed to the users. And the physical files are hidden for the servlets. But the JSP physical files are not hidden from the users. The users can access the physical files directly. Okay? So here I said, I put this. How does a user access a JSP physical file? Through URL. Through URL. So you type HTTP domain name / web application name, right? So, some path. Then, for example, if your JSP is called index.jsp, yeah. So, for example, if you use index.jsp, then the user just type this index.jsp at the end of the URL part, then the user can see the result of this JSP. Okay? So that's another difference between JSP and the servlet. Okay? Yeah. All right. Yeah. So we will see more information later. I will show you an example. Right now, it is still pretty abstract. Yeah. At the end of this presentation, I will show you a demo. Yeah. All right. Next, JSP are derived from HTML or Xhtml. Okay? So basically HTML, but X, we try to make it follow strict rules. Xhtml, people try to force some strict rules. Yeah, here I do not expand it. Okay? By embedding JSP scriptlets. So here we have a terminology, scriptlets. The JSP code, that code segment. So we want to give a name for it. So we call it a scriptlet, JSP scriptlet. So we embed into HTML content. If some of you have the PHP experience, so you will understand this part quickly, because PHP, we embed PHP code inside HTML content, right? Using the PHP tag, right? PHP tag, like this, okay? But this time, in JSP, we use the scriptlet, this tag, okay? This kind of special tag, we embed Java code, yeah. So you will see it, okay? Yeah, so JSPs use scriptlets to embed Java code between a pair of tags like that, okay? Yeah. To add dynamic content to HTML file. This special tags important for Java servers. So why special? Because when the Java servers see these tags, the Java server will translate the code inside this pair of tags. Okay? Outside part, HTML part, the server does not translate. the server just copy the static content, okay, directly, no change, nothing. Okay. But inside the scripted, the special tags, then server does the translation. Okay, and we don't need to know the detail how to do the translation, right? We don't need to know it. Yeah. We just want to know what is the result. Okay, when we run the JSP, what is the result? So that's what we want to know. Okay, all right. Yeah. So that's some basic points for the JSP.